اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عزيز يا غفور يا رحيم، أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر نظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه عليه، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من ألف شهر. فيها زمني ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك الرقبة من النار في من تمن عليه، وادخلنا الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ادخل على أهل القبور السرور، اللهم أغن كل فقير، اللهم اشف كل جائع، اللهم اكسو كل عريان، اللهم اقض دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل عسير، اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقض عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر، إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك، وأنت مسدد للثواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنكمة، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، واجب يا رحيم دعوتي، واخل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وعصبة قد أكلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره، وحمده الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير مع حاجة به إليه عزيمة، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على قبيح عملي، وهمك عن كثير جرمي، إنما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا، وأسألك مستأنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني أتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي يبتع عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد اللعين منك عليه. يا ربي إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من رحمتي لي ولساني إليه، والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهل، وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك، مجري الفلك، مسخر الرياح، فالق الإصباح، ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على علمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول عناته في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق، باسط الرزق، فالق الإصباح، ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى، وقرب فشهد النجوى، تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله، ولا شبيه يشاكله، ولا ظهير يعادله، فهو بعزته الأعزاء، وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصيه، ويعزم النعمة علي فلا أجازيه. فكم من موهبة حنية قد أعطاني، وعزيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبحجة مونكة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا، وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يحتق حجابه، ولا يغلق بابه، ولا يرد سائله، ولا يخيب عامله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين، وينجي الصالحين، ويرفع المستضعفين، ويدع المستكبرين، ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين، مبير الظالمين، مدرك الحاربين، نكال الظالمين، صريخ المستصرخين، موضع حاجات الطالبين، معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها، وترجف الأرض وعمارها، وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا، وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق، ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأصنع وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي ورسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبع العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمام الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المعمل والعدل المنتظر وخفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتديته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمن يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أزهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا وما كسرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا واشع به صدعنا وارتق به فتكنا وكثر به كلتنا وأعزز به ذلتنا واغني به آئلنا واقضي به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به كلتنا ويسر به يسرنا وبيت به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجح به تلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا وأعطنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة أعمالنا وأعطنا به فوق ركبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المؤتين. اشفي به صدورنا واذهب به كيد قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إلى إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا. وصل على محمد وآله وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله وبذر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تسحره ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فادخلنا وفي عليين فارفعنا وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا ومن الولدان المقلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فاقدمنا ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فاطعمنا ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا وليلة القدر وحج بيتك الحرام وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا وفي جهنم فلا تكن لنا وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل الكتران فلا تلبسنا ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم المشكور سعيهم المغفور ذنوبهم المكفر عن سيئاتهم وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية وتوسع في رزقي وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بي غيري. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dearest respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would firstly like to begin by thanking the committee, the EC of the Jamaat, particularly Riyaz Uncle and his team for facilitating Ahlulbayt TV's presence this evening at MKSI Leicester. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been here before and it's lovely to come back and see so many familiar faces, and once again I thank you for your hospitality. Brothers and sisters, in these holy nights of Shahr Ramadan, we come together as communities and we use this prime opportunity to reflect as to why we are here. Why are we seated in the floor of an Islamic community? What brings us together? In my opinion, it's an opportunity to reflect upon what it is that allows us to be a community which remembers Allah SWT in this holy month. Values of togetherness, values of brotherhood, unity, are values which need to be brought about in our Muslim communities in the month of Shahr Ramadan. And we use these nights, the nights of Bibi Khadija, of Imam al-Hassan, of Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala. Connecting with the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam to elevate our spiritual status, to instill within us values of empowerment, of justice, of standing up to inequality. Brothers and sisters, I don't feel I need to explain to you too much about the society we live in today, the power of media. In a 21st century, sensationalist, secularist society, we live in a world where media has a divisive agenda. Ethnic and Muslim communities, and religious communities, particularly the Muslim community in the United Kingdom and across the Western world, are suffering and occasionally being marginalized by many of the narratives put forward in the media. We are plagued with fake news, fake stories, stories which push the narrative of Islamophobia. And I feel that within the Muslim community, we lack an urge to get out in the media. We lack the real fervor to take over in the media, to put forward the narratives which need to be spread in this society. Narratives and morals of justice, togetherhood, and brotherhood, which we remember in these nights of Shahr Ramadan. 9 years ago, nearly today, a project started in London, where a group of like-minded, multicultural, diverse individuals from across the board came to one place, under one roof, and had the vision of spreading the message of the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam across the Western world, using the common tongue of the English language. Today, alhamdulillah, Ahlulbayt TV has become a global phenomenon. With 3 offices around the world, we are able to produce up to 40 to 50 documentaries a year, focusing on various issues, not just historically faith-related issues, but also issues which concern social affairs, fitness issues, charitable issues, spirituality, and so on, and issues which primarily affect the youth, the younger generation. The establishment of a whole new children's segment called CABTV, Children's Ahlulbayt TV, has come to light in the last couple of years. We've galvanized over 15 million viewers in 2017 alone. But our target is not tens of millions, brothers and sisters. Our target is to reach hundreds of millions of people on a day-to-day basis. Beyond this, we aim to counter these narratives which you mentioned, these narratives which are breaking apart communities as opposed to building bridges. In Shahr Ramadan, and this is the primary focus why I'm here, we are putting out 33 documentaries in 30 nights. Documentaries, full-length feature films, which will be of benefit to every individual in the community. You may be a young child in school, or you may be an elder of the community, but something which can add value to each of our lives, both our religious understanding of our faith, as well as our secular interactions with the wider world. We have a live show every evening from 10 to 12 a.m. Called the Sajjad Orphans Appeal, raising money for orphans in Karbala who are stricken with dire need for support, be it medical support, educational, schooling, housing, and so on. Beyond this, we have a number of documentaries. For example, the future of Marja'iyah, the institution of our Maraja. Where is it going? 50 years from now, when the youth of this community are fathers and grandfathers of the community, what perception will they and their lineage have on the institution of Marja'iyah? Issues looking at, for example, disabilities within our community, those who are disabled, those who have limited access. Are we as Muslim communities providing for these people? Gender issues. What is Islam's point of view on feminism, on masculinity, issues which the wider world are addressing and pointing fingers at our community saying, what are you guys doing about it? So, brothers and sisters, we ourselves are trying to explore issues which historically Muslims do not look into. I received a message about 4 or 5 months ago from a brother who lives in the Republic of Panama in South America. His name is Ricky. And Ricky said to me, he said, Ahmed, I've seen your shows on Ahlulbayt TV. He goes, 5 months ago I was an atheist. And he said, before that I was raised in a Christian family, but I had lost the will to believe in God. I didn't believe in God. I wasn't associated with any faith. But I was searching a particular topic on YouTube and I came across your channel. From there on, I looked into Ahlulbayt TV and the name Ahlulbayt sparked my curiosity. What is this? And alhamdulillah, within a few months, he started exploring more. And he now tells me that I have changed my name to Haydar. And I have become a Shia of the Ahlulbayt. Haydar now tells me that there are 4 masjids in Panama, none of which are Shia masjids. And he says to me that I believe I'm the first Shia in my country, thanks to Ahlulbayt TV. So the work we are trying to do, as you can probably tell, is very people-orientated. We are a channel which believes in being organic, a channel by the people and for the people. In that sense, we are not funded or we're not affiliated to any particular ideology or group or institution. Rather, what we look to do is grow through the power of the people. We're currently embarking on a campaign across the United Kingdom. Inshallah, I'll be going to about 15 or 20 centers across this holy month. And we're trying to find 300 people. That's 0.1% of our 300,000 Shia population in the United Kingdom. 0.1%. And these 300 people, inshallah, will support Ahlulbayt TV on a monthly basis, any amount which is manageable, small or large, within their capacity. And this will ensure the sustainability and not just the survival, but the progress of a project which I feel is so critical in this Western society. A sheikh once told me a story, and he affiliated it with our project. And he said, when we die, the angels of Allah SWT will come to us in our qabr, in our grave, and they will say, you have died and you have lived your life. Here are the deeds which you've accounted for all the good things you've done. Your salat, your zakat, your sawm, your khums, and so on. Congratulations. And here are the bad deeds you've accumulated. These are the deeds you've accumulated in your short years of life. But that's not it. The angels will then say, and this is a particular deed you have received for building the mosque in Panama. I'm thinking, hold on, I didn't build a mosque in Panama. I didn't even go to Panama. And the angels of Allah SWT will say, no, you didn't. You didn't go to Panama. You didn't build a mosque there. But you contributed towards a project which inspired an individual in a remote part of the world to start Husayniyah for the lovers of the Ahlulbayt alayhim as-salam. And you contributed towards a project which inspired an individual in Mumbai, India, to give blood to save a human life. And you contributed towards a project which inspired a man in New York to start a campaign to spread the message of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. Brothers and sisters, this is the power of media. This is Sadqa Jariyah. This is what our imams and our scholars talk about so regularly on the minbar. Giving towards a project which will ensure the survival and the progression of our Shia community. And not just any Shia project. A project which can fit in, which can be understandable, digestible and approachable to a non-Muslim, Western, English-speaking community. And brothers and sisters, this is what we are trying to do at Ahlulbayt TV. Just finally, inshallah, we do have a stall on the gents side. I apologize to the sisters for not being able to have one on the sisters side this evening. And on the stall, we have a number of gifts, which you could perhaps purchase if you like. But we are also giving free gifts for anyone who does wish to support the channel and sign up on a monthly basis to support what we are doing, just as a small token of thanks. Beyond that as well, we're not just looking for sign-ups. If you perhaps have a khums donation, If you'd like to advertise your business, sponsor a program or a documentary in remembrance of your marhumin, that's always an option. And not just financial support, we're also lastly looking for a pool of talent to promote amongst our community. Within our community, we have psychiatrists and fitness coaches and doctors and chefs and graphic designers. And these are the sorts of individuals which we want to utilize to allow us to grow, give promotion to some of the great members of our community, and inshallah be of benefit to the wider world. Just finally, brothers and sisters, I believe inshallah, with the help of Riyaz's uncle and brother Zahir, we'll be also handing out and leaving behind some leaflets if any of you inshallah would like to take some home. But I will only be here for one night, so please inshallah do use the opportunity to speak to me while I'm here. Thank you so much for your time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Life is tough and full of obstacles and challenges, and it's those obstacles and challenges that make us go through suffering either for a short term or for a long term. And that suffering can happen at any moment in life, at any point, and it can be unexpected, and most of the time it is unexpected. For example, we might go through breakdowns in our relationships. We might go through financial difficulties, or we might go through health problems. Whatever the difficulty is, it causes a great deal of pain to the person undergoing through that difficulty. And suffering is not discriminatory, so therefore it affects everyone, not just the layperson, but it also affects the prophets. For example, we see the Prophet Ayyub. Prophet Ayyub was a very blessed individual. He had wealth, he had good health, he had property, he had children, he had everything that anyone could desire. So one day Allah was showing Prophet Ayyub off to his angels, because Prophet Ayyub was also an obedient servant to him. So Allah was showing him off to the angels, saying, "Look at my servant." And Shaitan questioned Allah at that point and said, Allah, Prophet Ayyub is only like this. He only obeys you because you've given him everything. If he didn't have anything, then you'll see that he doesn't worship you. So Allah, with his wisdom, knew what the outcome would be, but he allowed Shaitan a little power over Prophet Ayyub, with the exception of having complete dominion over him, so that Shaitan could take away some of the blessings. So Shaitan, what he did first was he took away the wealth of Prophet Ayyub, because he saw that the wealth of Prophet Ayyub gave him a sense of security. But even at the end of the day, Prophet Ayyub, despite having lost all of his wealth, still prostrated to Allah in thankfulness to him for everything he had. So after seeing this, Shaitan took away the property of Prophet Ayyub, because he saw that the property of Prophet Ayyub gave him a sense of security. He had somewhere to live. So Shaitan took away his property, until a point that Prophet Ayyub had become homeless and he wasn't able to live in the city. He had to move out because he couldn't afford it. But even at the end of that day, Prophet Ayyub prostrated to Allah in thankfulness to him for everything that he had. So Shaitan decided to take away his children. But even after all of his children died, Prophet Ayyub still prostrated to Allah in thankfulness. And then lastly, Shaitan took away Prophet Ayyub's health, to the point that Prophet Ayyub, his condition had deteriorated so much that the people were disgusted to go near him, and they started to doubt his prophethood. They said that if you really are a prophet, then Allah wouldn't have subjected you to such suffering. But even at that point, Prophet Ayyub prostrated to Allah in thankfulness to him. And then Allah took control of the situation and said to Shaitan that, see my servant, he prostrates to me even when he has nothing. And then in return for Prophet Ayyub's thankfulness to Allah, he gave him back everything that he had, and the children that he lost, he replaced them with new children. So therefore, we can see that suffering is a part of life, and life without suffering is unimaginable. However, it's important that we overcome the suffering and the difficulties that we go through, and therefore in tonight's discussion we'll talk about how we can overcome difficulties by considering the following points. The first point that we'll consider is, why does suffering happen, and what is the Islamic viewpoint on suffering? Number one. Number two, why do some people never suffer? And the famous question, why do bad things happen to good people? Number three, what are the benefits of suffering, and how can we overcome the suffering that befalls upon us? And number four, what can we learn from the life of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam? Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we mentioned that suffering is a part of life, and without suffering there almost is no life. But why does suffering happen? We already saw from the story of Prophet Ayyub that suffering can happen as a result of Allah trying to test our faith, to see how unflinching we are towards prostrating towards Allah, even in the testing, even in the most testing of times. But this isn't the only reason why we go through suffering. Some of the reasons we go through suffering is so that we become thankful. Humans by nature are forgetful, and so we often forget the things that we have, but we only realize the value of something we have once we've lost it. And if we did not have that thing that we lost, then we'd never truly be able to appreciate it. For example, if someone is in good health and then all of a sudden they're told that they only have 6 months to live, that person would naturally make changes to their life. I remember a long time ago watching a TV program in which people who were slightly obese would take part in challenges, and they were told by a doctor at the beginning of the show that this is how long you have to live. We would never be told at what age they die, but from the reaction, from their faces, we'd be able to see that those people would start crying, and as a result of realizing that they've wasted away their life by indulging, by taking in junk food constantly without moderation, they realized that they had to make changes, and therefore they did make changes. So therefore, when someone undergoes suffering, they become thankful, and thankfulness is one of the traits of the believers. The second reason why we go through suffering is because suffering promotes growth. Robin Sharma, a world-renowned motivational speaker and an author of many books. He's written books such as The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. He's written an excellent book called The Leader Without a Title. And if you get a chance, please read that book, because reading the material of that book really reminds you of the Prophet in terms of how to engage in your daily life. So he's written this book, and in this book, he says that when someone wants to rebuild their character, it's important that they be completely broken down so they can rebuild something better. For example, when a construction company wants to build a building, for example, but there's already something in the way, the first course of action is demolition. They destroy what's there already so they can get rid of that which they don't need, get rid of that which isn't worth keeping anymore, so they can build something better on top of it. So there are many reasons why we suffer. One of them is to test our faith. The other one is to grow as individuals, and the third could be to become thankful. However, what is the Islamic viewpoint on suffering? Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. the Islamic viewpoint on suffering is interesting because, as we saw from the story of Prophet Ayyub, he suffered, however, he wasn't someone who had committed a sin. So one of the reasons, or one of the first thoughts that may come to our mind when we suffer is we might be suffering because of a sin that we committed. However, Prophet Ayyub was not a sinner. He didn't sin, and therefore his suffering was not as a result of any sin that he committed. However, Imam Baqir alayhi salam has answered the question as to what the Islamic viewpoint is on suffering, and he says that suffering of a believer is a sign that Allah loves him, and when Allah loves a believer, he showers calamities upon them so that they may build themselves. This might be difficult to understand, but it can be understood by a few examples. For example, let's just take the example of a parent and a child. The parent knows that if a child who loves to eat certain foods, such as chocolates or sweets, the parent knows that overeating in this can lead to bad effects in the future. However, the child doesn't understand that at the time, and this is all the child wants. So what the parent does is he withholds junk food, or he withholds chocolates, or whatever it may be. He withholds it, but gives it to the child in moderation so as to allow the child to benefit from the future. No matter how much that child complains or how much that child cries for that thing, the parent knows it's responsible of them to prevent the child from difficulties in their future, such as obesity, such as diabetes, etc. So it's important that the parent be cruel to be kind. So therefore, why do some people never suffer? We often come across life and we sometimes find people who might not have gone through any difficulties. Firstly, we don't know if someone is suffering or not. However, from the outset, they might not be suffering. So why do some people not suffer? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala he said that, sorry, recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has said that one of the signs of someone who doesn't suffer is, one of the reasons why someone who doesn't suffer is because Allah has left them completely, and he demonstrates this by narrating an event from the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. The Prophet had one day attended the house of someone who had invited him for dinner. As the Prophet arrived at the person's house, he sat down for dinner and the person had served him with food. But just as the Prophet was about to start eating, he noticed a hen sitting on the top of a wall. That hen laid an egg and it fell towards the floor, and upon falling onto the floor, the egg landed on a nail, but the egg didn't break, it didn't even crack. The Prophet was surprised, and then that person, having seen the Prophet be so surprised, so proudly said, "This is nothing, I have never suffered in my life." At that point, the Prophet got up from his place and left the house without even eating. Why? Because a person who doesn't suffer, according to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and the Prophet, is a person whom Allah has completely left. So why do bad things happen to good people? Because although we may suffer all the time, although we may go through difficulties, we may fast, we may pray salah, we may give in charity. However, we might notice that there are still bad things happening to us. This can be answered in two ways. The first thing to remember, the first way is to answer this is, it's important to remember that bad things don't just happen to good people, but good things happen to good people too, and more so than the bad stuff. So for example, if we were to count our blessings, we wouldn't be able to count them as much as we may think, because Allah has given us so much. So for example, if we started to count right now. I have parents, I have security, I have a house to live in. I'm always served iftar. There are some people that aren't. So if I was to count my blessings, I'd be able to see that there are more good things in my life than the bad. So it's not just bad things that happen to good people, but good things happen to good people too. The second way to answer this question is as a matter of perception. What we perceive as good and what we perceive as bad. Something is only bad if we think it to be bad, but at the end it might not be. So for example, pregnancy. Pregnancy can be a very stressful time for both the husband and the wife, but during labor can be extremely painful. However, it's important or necessary for the mother of a child to go through the pain that she goes through in order to receive the result that she goes to. Pain on its own can be perceived as bad. However, in this situation, pain is necessary in order to receive the fruit of that which is a child. Recite salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So when answering the question as to why do bad things happen to good people, number one, good things happen to good people too. So it's not fair to say that bad things only happen. And number two, it's a matter of perception as to what we perceive as good and what we perceive as bad. So suffering, although it's necessary, has many benefits also. And I'd like to start this section by narrating to you something Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to his companion. A companion of Imam Sadiq had come to him complaining to him as to all the suffering that he was undergoing. So Imam Sadiq reminded him as to the value of suffering. He said that if a believer only knew what he would gain through suffering, and if he knew what Allah would give him as a result of all the suffering that he goes through, he would want his suffering to be such that his body be cut into pieces with a scissor. Now, that seems extremely painful. However, Imam Sadiq was trying to emphasize the necessity and the reward that a believer gains after having gone through suffering. However, there are many other benefits to suffering. The first benefit to suffering is that it can be a tool for forgiveness. We may have gone through life and we may have committed sins, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is extremely merciful, and when He sees that a believer of His has or may have committed mistakes or sins, He may not want to punish them in the world to come, and therefore in order to alleviate the suffering of the world to come, He gives them sufferings in this world so He doesn't have to face what's to come afterwards. The second benefit of suffering is that it helps us to develop patience. Patience is one of the signs of the believer, and Imam Jafar as-Sadiq has said that patience is to faith like the head is to the body. We can survive if our arms were cut, we'd still be alive, or we'd still be alive if our feet were cut off. But if our head was cut off, we wouldn't survive. So patience is a salvation for our iman. Without patience, our iman is in danger. And therefore, one of the benefits of suffering is that as individuals, it helps us to develop patience. So how can we overcome suffering? There are many ways that we can take practically to overcome suffering. However, I'm just going to name a couple. The first thing to do is to come to terms with the suffering that we have gone through. Once we acknowledge what we have gone through, we'll be able to better understand and appreciate the situation or the position that we currently are in now. And if we dwell on the past, if we don't let go of the suffering that we have gone through, this can result in negative consequences. For example, it can lead to stress or mental distress also. The second practical step to take when undergoing suffering or after overcoming suffering is to surround yourself with those whom you love the most. This may be your family or this may be your friends. When surrounded by individuals who love you, who you know will support you in any situation, then you're surrounded in a positive environment, and the energy that you receive from them will only be a positive one, which will help you forget about the suffering that you went through and also help you to overcome any remains of that suffering that may still be there. And I'd like to conclude this discussion by telling you about Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was a special prophet. He became the king of Egypt, but look at what he had to go through to get there. Number one, he lost his mother at a young age. Number two, he was separated from his father, again at a young age. He was beaten up by his brothers. It was 11-1. They beat him up. His brothers whom were supposed to protect him. Number four, he was dumped in a well and left there for days. Imagine how scary it would have been for a child at night time. It would have been extremely dark. Number five, he was sold into slavery. Number six, he grew up in a palace in which was a constant danger for him. Yes, he grew up as a servant, and as things were starting to look up, all of a sudden, he was accused of adultery and sent to prison, despite the evidence being against Zuleika and for him. So he was sent to prison, and he wasn't sent to prison just for a few days or a few weeks. He was sent to prison for 7 years, and we know the story after that. So what can we learn from the life of Prophet Yusuf? His story is very interesting. It teaches us that life has many ups and downs. However, with patience and prayer, it's important for us to remember that Allah always has a plan for us, and He doesn't give us that which we cannot bear. So all the puzzle pieces fall into place in the end, and with patience and prayer, we can overcome our difficulties just as Prophet Yusuf did. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.